everybody, this is Casey DeLorme. For my skunkworks project at Hudl, I created a Golang static markdown generator, which can be used to generate one or more HTML files from multiple markdown files. You point it at a folder, you give it a template file, and it generates the output. The source code is available on github.com/cdelorme/staticmd, and its goal is basically to generate distributable content that is pretty unreadable. Now, in this case, I did not create a CSS file to demo this with, and I didn't finish it in time to demo it during the original date that we had scheduled. But this code relies on the Black Friday Markdown generator and a couple of things that I created for utilities to process command line parameters. On any system with Golang installed, it's very easy to download this package. You just go get github.com/cdelorme/staticmd, and it will install it. Now, the location it puts it to is usually your go path and bin. In my case, I've pointed my bin at a local bin folder, which is here, which also has been added to my path. So if I type staticmd, it exists. Now, this is the command line options. It has a bunch of different things that you can do in here. It generates book mode optionally. By default, it uses an absolute path according to the output path, which by default is equal to public slash, like as though you were generating a website, which it can be used for as well. But if you wanted locally readable documentation, you could use relative links with the general output. Book mode ignores that because it puts all the file content into one page, and it requires a template file. This is the only actually required parameter, I believe. Because it'll use the path you're in to run against if you don't supply an input path. So in our case, I'm going to create a docs from our hudl docs, which is here. So there are tons of files in here. We're going to create a single page output. So I'm going to do staticmd. I'm going to point it at the template that I created for this project, since I don't have another demoable one. For the template information, I recommend just checking out the project source. It'll make sense. So yeah, hudl docs, and we're going to do book mode. So you'll notice that took like a fraction of a second, and it generated a public folder with an index. So I'm going to open that up, and you'll notice this is every page has a table of contents properly indented according to where it exists, and of course, clicking it will take you to that location. So very useful, and if we wanted to from here, we could print this as a PDF. This means in like less than half a minute, you could have an up-to-date copy of our documentation for everything we've put into documentation. Heck, I could point it at the entire Git repository folder that I have, which has all of our projects, and it'll find all the markdown and add them to a list. Now, it does not generate index pages for anything that doesn't already have an index page, but it'll append stuff. So if you were creating something like this, it would totally be doable. Very cool stuff. It was a fun little project. It's only about 500 lines of code. It's not that big, but hopefully it'll be useful.